There are a lot of organizations. The Nisei Japanese Americans recognized with the Congressional Gold Medal. The Navajo Code Talkers recognized with the Congressional Gold Medal. The Puerto Rican soldiers recognized with the Congressional Gold Medal. How about the Filipinos? None. Not yet. Okay, so that's what I want to talk about, and I need all your support. Okay, so the mission, briefly, raise public awareness, 1, and 2 is to obtain national recognition. The goal is to seek the passage of the Filipino Veterans of World War II Congressional Gold Medal Act of 2015. Huge undertaking. Congressman Mike Honda's out here. He'll be up here soon. He's a strong proponent of it. It is the House of Representatives Bill 2737, and in the Senate it is Bill 1555. What we need as a nation is for 67 U.S. senators and at least 218 representatives from the House by September 6, 2016 or sooner to support this bill. We need all their support to do that. Again, over 260,000 Filipino soldiers fought in World War II. Only 16,000 to 18,000 remain. That is why we have a sense of urgency to move forward and ask Congress and Senate to agree to pass this bill so we can recognize the families of the 260,000 and, more importantly, the 16,000 to 18,000 who are still alive, to recognize them with a replica of a Congressional Gold Medal. I'm going to go off script for just a second here. A Congressional Gold Medal by itself, awarded by Congress, is a $30,000 allotment. So Congressman Honda and his fellow congressional peers award this, and it's a $30,000 medal. This group does not keep the medal. The medal goes to the Smithsonian. But what we need to do is raise up to $4 million as an organization to have thousands of replicas made of the Congressional Gold Medal so we can award these to the families and to the soldiers who serve and are accounted for as one who served in the Philippines during World War II. So that is what we're trying to do. Public awareness is scant or non-existent, as mentioned earlier. No formal declaration of the United States to recognize the Filipino-American World War II soldiers for their selfless sacrifice and dedicated service. How many of you agree that that is the right thing to do? Okay, actions today. Senator Hirano from Hawaii and Representative Gabbard from Hawaii, from both the House and the Senate, are both co-sponsoring this bill. The organization is underway to get 501c3 tax-exempt, nonpartisan approved, and also a communications plan is working to get educational and public information initiatives. A lot of what you're hearing today, what State Superintendent Tom Torkelson talked about earlier today, is to insert a portion of the curriculum into the high schools of the state of California. We'd like to see that replicated in all 50 states and territories, is to do that. So it's that's a great place to start. Thank you. Okay, 4 phases. 4 phases, very quickly. Academic research has been done. We want to design and implement the public information to educate the public about the contribution. That is in process now. Secondly, for the U.S. Congress to pass the National Recognition Proclamation, approve the Congressional Gold Medal, and have that formal presentation, not only in the United States, but also in all the major cities where Filipino soldiers and or families reside, to include the Philippines, to include Manila, possibly in Honolulu. So all over the United States, so we can recognize the families, bring them forward, and formally award them this Congressional Gold Medal. Sounds good? Yeah. It's a big deal. We want to get after it. We need your support. Again, phase 3, as we talked about, establish a secondary or high school college educational program, co-sponsored by government agencies, corporate sponsors, and other advocates. And again, that's going to be the big push to raise money to be able to travel get the medal produced or reproduced, and then get about traveling nationwide to award these medals. And fourthly, the fourth phase, a national exhibition in both the U.S. and in the Philippines, co-sponsored again, as I mentioned, by the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. If you haven't been there, you've missed half your life. Just kidding. And also the sponsors and advocates. So a great, great initiative that is ongoing. There is a website out there, the Vets Rep website and Facebook page. So if you don't remember anything, just Vets Rep website. Again, awaiting passage of the Congressional Gold Medal Act. The goal is to get all those congressional reps and senators approval by next year so we can get that passed. Continue engagements like this type of forum, both in this community and nationwide. As I mentioned, a national fundraising campaign, operations plan put together on executing a plan on how we're going to hit all the different major cities, communities, and cities. The committee is in the throes of establishing a list of U.S. and Philippine roster of veterans and families affected by this project. As I mentioned earlier, 260,000, and we're talking a lot, not only about the Filipinos, but there were a lot of Caucasian U.S. military officers who served, and mentioned earlier were nurses who also served. We want to make sure we capture anybody and everybody that was involved during World War II and recognize them with a Congressional Gold Medal replica. Okay, what's my interest in this? As mentioned, it wasn't actually my dad, it was my Uncle Pedro who served as a Filipino guerrilla during World War II. My dad came to the United States and started working in the farms in 1929. He was 18 years old, so he came over early. He tried to enlist in the Army in 1942 in Sacramento, and they said, no, we need you to work on the farms to pick fruit so we can send it over to our soldiers. So I served 36 years, so I think I covered it a little bit for my dad. Okay, what else can we do? Engage your congressional reps, your congressional leaders. Let them know that you're interested in having this bill passed so we can get about getting this Congressional Gold Medal honored. Again, to mobilize the Filipino-American communities throughout the United States in support of the Filipino and American soldiers who served valiantly during World War II. Thirdly, hold events to inform friends and partners, similarly to what you're doing today with Cecilia's leadership, to solicit support, engage government and civic leaders on this particular Congressional Gold Medal Act. And lastly, don't forget the contributions of the Filipino and American World War II soldiers. My last slide, how about that? The Filipino and American World War II soldiers accomplished their mission. Do we all agree?
Yes.
To protect our freedom. Let's give them another hand. Our mission, should you decide to accept? No, that's we must, this is a non-fail mission. We must accomplish our mission to recognize them. We must. We must not fail the veterans who served for us so that we could live in this free nation. I get up in the morning and there's not a rocket that's going to hit the top of my house. You know that? And I have hot water in my shower. And I don't take that for granted. I've been around the world. I've been to Afghanistan twice, Iraq 4 times. I've been to New Delhi, India. I've been all over the world, and I tell you what, we have it good here, and I don't take it for granted. And I'm going to do what I can to help rally the community so we can recognize the Filipino soldiers who fought for our freedoms. Hua! Thank you very much.